Welcome to Friday, the 21st day of July 2023. Your Day Weather Podcast is being brought to you by Cowboy State Daily. Well, high pressure will expand northward, pushing the heat back in, also bringing, at least temporarily, a drier air mass. After a stormy, wet day for some of you, it's going to be trending warmer and a bit drier as we head on into this upcoming weekend. Now, temperatures are going to rebound today. Scattered showers and thunderstorms, could still have a few strong ones, while the moisture is not nearly as deep in the region today, and the upslope pattern not as intense as yesterday. Residual moisture, especially in the areas that got rain yesterday, will go back into the air and help bring afternoon and evening thunderstorms, a few strong ones. But as we'll show you, drier air comes in for the weekend as the door to the monsoon closes. It'll open up again next week, but it closes, so the air's drier. Now, that doesn't mean no thunderstorms. There'll still be a few, but not nearly as many. And it's going to be getting a lot warmer. And it's going to be very warm to hot next week over the entire region. I think next week may be the hottest week of the year for a large part of the central and northern Rockies and the central and northern Plains states compared to where we've been this year. At least we'll be able to put together many days in a row where it's going to be plenty hot. But occasional thunderstorm activity will permeate the heat, kind of making those afternoon and evenings not quite as hot. But do be ready for some very warm weather, and that'll be after another very cool day today for some of you. Now, here's a great shot from Dave and Lori Day northwest of Cheyenne yesterday afternoon. Boy, yesterday was just a classic monsoon-driven pattern as we saw some very heavy thunderstorms with a lot of heavy rain. This was part of a thunderstorm complex that developed in Albany County, moved through the Laramie area, moved through the Laramie Range, then came down into Laramie County, affecting many areas with 1-2 inches of rain, some hail, and as this video is showing you, this is wind-driven sideways rain. We used to see this in the winter all the time, right? But this is sideways rain. The winds were gusting to 66 miles an hour as this thunderstorm moved through with very heavy rainfall. But then you get a nice shot like this. This is actually from earlier in the week of the rainbow after a thunderstorm that happened this weekend. Now, the satellite imagery and the radar imagery shows where that thunderstorm complex is now, all the way down into Kansas, heading into Oklahoma. Very heavy rain in parts of eastern Colorado and northwest and western Kansas last night with that complex. That's going to bring a lot of rain to those areas this morning. And you can see some residual monsoonal moisture down here in Arizona. But generally speaking, the west is going to see a little bit of a break. And you can see how impressive that thunderstorm complex is on the satellite imagery this morning. Going further west with the western satellite, a couple things to show you. Deep monsoonal moisture, that's just going to wait for later. But you see this tongue of drier air coming in. Also another an area of drier air. So the moisture, the deep moisture plume that has just come on through is heading east. Drier air going to get now entrained as the high pressure ridge expands northward and a little bit more eastward, bringing in that drier air. This is why the weather pattern is going to change up a bit as we head into the weekend. This morning, you can see the low pushing across, backing up the cooler air along the front range with the high pressure backing off to the west. But that's going to change. This is for Monday. So today, Monday. Notice the extension now, kind of like a mountain. That's why we call them ridges of high pressure. This high pressure ridge is going to extend and allow the heat to expand northward. This is why the weekend into next week will heat up. If we go a little bit further, what'll happen by the middle of next week, this is towards Wednesday and Thursday, it's subtle, but the high is shifting more east and south. And notice this little bump right here. It looks not much. There's another little bump right here. These are weather disturbances circulating around the high that'll have monsoonal moisture with it. So that will bring occasional thunderstorm activity into the forecast next week back into the central Rockies. And we'll show you that when we take a look at the precipitable water forecast. This is by noon today. Notice the deeper moisture is now getting shunted southeast into the other parts of the south central United States. And then here's some of that drier air. Now, being in brown doesn't mean you won't have thunderstorms, but we're just not going to have nearly as much. And the white and the green area is still showing there's ample moisture. and that's going to help feed the development of showers and storms, but not to the extent of yesterday. And this is where we have the severe weather threat. See that marginal area right along the Front Range from New Mexico to Wyoming into western Nebraska? So residual moisture left behind from the storms yesterday going to get heated up. That's going to cause a few scattered thunderstorms that may be strong along some Front Range areas later today. This is for tomorrow. The air is a lot drier. The drier air definitely going to settle things down a little bit, and the thunderstorm coverage more towards the Midwest, less activity. I think this is probably a little optimistic. I think there'll be a little bit more green in the other areas up here where the mountain terrain will get some showers and thunderstorms still going. Now, this is by Sunday. Notice the drier air is getting pushed eastward and being replaced by the next plume. This is how it goes. You get a plume, you get drier air, then you get another one. This is the thunderstorm outlook for Sunday, mainly along the terrain, along the divide where that monsoonal moisture is heated along the mountain slopes to get those late-day thunderstorms going. But deeper moisture is starting to come back in. This is for Monday, and this is for Tuesday. So you can see it's coming around the high again. Basically, we're just repeating the cycle that we went through here over the past week. Temperatures. Let's look at temperatures now, and you can see how things will change. This is the temperature anomaly for today. All that green and blue, part of the cold front and the cool, moist air backed up against the Front Range, keeping temperatures well below average for another day. However, as that slides away and as the high pressure grows, temperatures on Saturday begin to really warm up. This is for Sunday, and this is for Monday. So the heat is on, and you can see the heat getting way up here into Canada. And finally now, some of the heat spreading into the Corn Belt and Midwest as the high pressure grows. But we'll see the pattern go back late next week where the high shifts, cooler air comes in, the monsoonal moisture will come in, and that will bring a better chance of showers and storms and cooler temperatures. But you can see what the heat will be like on Monday, getting very, very warm as temperature readings getting 90 or better will extend into these areas here, and then the worst of the heat again down into the southern areas. So this will make your tomatoes grow, especially after all that rain for some of you here that we've picked up over the last couple of days. As we take a look at this heat, do expect it to be the warmest probably during the first half of next week, but a pretty persistent heat for most of you. Have yourself a great weekend coming on up. Stay cool. We'll see you Monday.